Hey guys, good morning. Dr. Hall again. I'm sorry I'm going to be as quick as I can today because it is a jam-packed day. So there are a couple things I want to go over that all of us within the building can do to help students to be successful. We all have to take a part in. So now let me be clear on this. I'm not saying to teach to a test. What I'm saying is we have amazing teachers, and that can't be exemplified in the assessments our students will take in SC Ready and SC Pass if at some point we don't give them the tools in test taking, because test taking looks very different than a traditional classroom with guided practice, modeling, and independent practice, small group. That's not how they're assessed. And so what I'm talking about is now taking what we do in the classroom every day, the students being assessed, and how we give them the skills to what we're doing very well every day, be then evaluated on this final assessment in an accurate way. And so how do we do that? We have to work as a team. Number one, we have to be using the vocabulary that's within the standards. So they have to be exposed to that academic vocabulary, or else they have no chance at all at doing well. Also, they have to understand the verbs within the standards. So if a question says, the following quote was taken from, the Gettysburg Address, what it most exemplifies what. If they don't know what exemplify means, then they're going to struggle with answering the question. So they have to understand what the verb is asking them to do. All of us have a part in that. Literacy is across the content area. So really work to make sure our students are understanding the verbs and what they have to demonstrate with that verb, whether it's on a piece of paper, whether it's through a model, whatever. But make sure that students also understand context clues. That's across the board as well. So model that thinking. So if you have a reading passage in your classroom and they come across an academic word, whether it be in, intro to coding, or it's in their science class, their math class, and they don't know the word, and it says, for example, afterwards in the next sentence, then you say, oh, that's a context clue. For example, let me know that what followed related to or defined the word that was in the sentence before. Model those things so that it becomes fluid with our students in every classroom. Also, walk through testing strategies with students. So, for example, after every assessment that I had at every level, I always went back through question by question and went over and gave them feedback as to how they did on the assessment, and we verbally did it as a class because I needed to know that they got the wrong information now saved correctly in their minds. And sometimes it was good for me to get to their thinking process. Like, how'd you guys come up with this answer? So, for example, if there was a negative stem in a question, then I could walk through that testing process or strategy with the kids. Guys, this is a negative. So what the answer is going to have to be is a negative as well. So let's look at the answers. There are four choices. Two of the choices are positive, two are negative. So what option do you have? The two negatives. So now you've walked through the process of elimination, and you're down to a 50-50 chance if you have no idea as to what the question or the answer is. So make sure that you're doing that. Also there are a lot of questions now about with really two right answers, three right answers, and they have to be able to tell the best one. So that takes practice. Also, like with our research skills, guys, we have so much information thrown at us every single day. That's probably the most important thing that all of us need to be working on, is researching and being able to decipher good information versus bad information, because we're sending these kids out into the world. And so don't just let them get on Google Chrome, on, Edge or whatever, Explore, and just randomly search for things. Guide them through what good research looks like. How do you decipher good from bad, reliable from unreliable? Also, make sure that you're enforcing the grammar rules. Now, as a former social studies teacher, I will say that in no way do I say grade in the social studies classroom for grammar. What I say is don't allow kids to make all these kinds of mistakes and not correct them. If you see them, then correct it on their paper. Talk to them about it. Like, guys, I'm noticing a trend. You guys aren't using you're not putting periods. You're not using capital letters. I expect you to write in full sentences in my classroom. That helps our English teachers, and it helps our students as a whole. We don't want them going out into the world and just using text message kind of lingo when they go into a professional setting, and that's the kind of email they send. Also, make sure that they're getting access daily to, whether it be bell ringers, activators, whatever you want to call it, to assessment-like questions. So I suggest 5 to 10 questions every day that are SC Ready, SC Pass like. So again, you can walk through those testing strategies and processes with the students. There are tons of websites out there that already have released ones. Remember, at the end of the day, this is a business. We now have our assessment questions made from DRC. Do remember, though, we have a bank of questions. And who made those banks? Other test makers like Pearson. Who makes New York Regents? New York Regents releases all of their assessments and questions every year. So you can pull from those banks. That's probably the most difficult thing for teachers to do. Assessment is hard. That's why it's a business. People spend hours and hours and hours developing these good questions. So don't stress about making them, steal them from other places. You've also got Virginia's assessments, Texas assessments, Pennsylvania's. Problematic has a bunch already in there. You can pull and put together from the free version. Of course, the paid is a little bit better and helps you to manipulate it a little bit easier in grades for you. But if you don't have a choice, that is those are a couple of the options. And so I just say that we've all got to work together, and it is for the